Hi guys, I'm going to show you around Cobb Digital Library so that you can use it to find some more advanced type of sources, some scholarly and academic sources, in addition to the ones that you're finding through Google, that might be more journalistic from news sources and things like that. The way you're going to get here is to go to cobb.mcinvia.com. And as long as you are already logged into Microsoft 365, which you likely are because you're in CTLS, then you should be brought right to this page and you should see North Cobb High School showing up here. Now, if it asks you to log in, you would just use your Microsoft 365 login information. When you get in to Cobb Digital Library, over here on the left, you have some options to choose from. So I'm going to go straight to databases. There are a lot of databases listed here. There are 51, in fact. We're not going to be concerned with all of these. I'm going to show you a couple that are especially useful for our class. The first one is going to be this one, the Academic Search Complete. This is a variety of scholarly journals. To open it, you would click Open Now. And you've likely been here before. You will see a familiar page that gives you a search bar. This would be where I type in my topic, whatever it is that you are researching for our argumentative essay. There are a couple things that I can do to limit my search results, and that's important because you might get an overwhelming number, but also you want to make sure you get sources that you can actually open and access. So if you scroll down a little bit here, please make sure under limit your results that full text is selected. You may also want to select scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. That's going to limit your search results to being the most credible types of sources, which are peer-reviewed types of journals. Another thing that you can do over here under published date, this would be where you can limit the amount of time that we're going back to find sources. So remember I said that we really want to be within 5 years, maybe at most 10. So that means I would put in here potentially 2015 and 2020, right? From there down here, I would just hit search. When I get my search results, so let's type in, I'm going to type in an issue that deforestation of rainforests. Let's pretend I'm researching something about this. So because I already applied those, what are called limiters, those filters, I got 148, which is pretty good. That's not a whole lot. So I can look through my search results here and I can sort of see which ones sound the most relevant to my argument. I may need to add some words up here, like let's say I'm not getting things that pertain to my particular argument. I could add plenty of things into this search bar. But if there is something that I'd like to explore further, I can go into the source. And if I scroll down here, I can read an abstract. The abstract is a summary. So this is basically going to give me a sense of what this article is all about. Now, this doesn't take the place of me reading the article. It just gives me a summary of it. Okay, so let's say this is one that I'd like to use. Up here, I can click on PDF full text, and that's going to pop open a PDF viewer of the source. Now, from here, I could do a couple of things. I could either click this download button, and it would download to my computer. This would be particularly helpful if I wanted to be able to access this later. If I didn't want to download it for some reason, I could also click on the permalink, this little link right here. At the very top, I'm going to get this new little bar that opens up, and this would be what I want to copy and paste, likely into my sources document. This link is the one that will give you access to this even without being logged in to Cobb Digital Library. When we get into talking about citations, another nice feature in here is that you can click on this button over here that says Cite, and it will actually give you a citation. So you'd find the citation style that you would use. In English classes, we use MLA, so we would want to use this MLA one. but it's already made for me, which is really nice. All right, so going back to Cobb Digital Library, besides Academic Search Complete, you potentially might want to check out the Advanced Placement source. Even though we are not an AP class, it would provide you some additional access to articles. Everyone can access this regardless of whether they're in an AP class or not. So this would be another potential option, as would Galileo Advanced. So Galileo is similar to EBSCO, which is the one that we were just in. You've likely used this one before as well. When you open it, it's going to ask you like who you are, what level of school. So I'm going to choose high school. So similarly, I'm going to type in my topic. And you'll get some similar types of search results, right? Now, I got 51,000 on this particular website, which is a lot, right? So same thing over here. I'm going to want to do some things to limit it. I definitely want full text because I want to be able to read it. So brought it down a little bit. Maybe I want only scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. But the biggest thing would be to narrow my publication date. Notice right now it's pulling anything from 1917 to 2021. So if I want to move that up to being my 5-year span, right? That's going to knock this down to about 12,500, which is far better. But I can also do some other types here. So like, again, there are academic journals. Maybe I'm looking though for news or magazines or reports. There are a few more options if you go here. So I could narrow it that way as well. And you can see how many sources fall under each of these categories. Okay. So similar though to the other site, when there's something that I think looks promising, I can click into it and I can read the abstract. From there, I can open up the full text over here on the left-hand side. I can go down here to the permalink to save it for later. I could go to the cite function in order to get a citation for later. So very similar ways that those two resources work. All right, the other one that I think would be pretty helpful would be any of these issues in context. So there's global issues in context. If we load a few more on down here, we have opposing viewpoints in context. This one might be especially helpful since we are working on an argumentative paper. This is going to show opposing viewpoints on over 5,000 topics of interest. So opposing viewpoints would be like looking at arguments and counter arguments. So again, very helpful. Any of these in context sites are going to look relatively similar as well. So when you get in here, you're going to do a similar search. So let me do my deforestation of rainforests. And we can see a couple of different things, like different content types that I'm going to get returned to me. So I have similar filters over here. If I want to filter things by full text, right, versus peer reviewed, publication date, all of that. So over here, I have some options of sort of things that have come up. So here's a reference source, an image, an audio from a weekend edition on Sunday, so from a news source. And then I have some articles from magazines and some news articles, all right, that are all showing up. And there's one academic journal that they're pulling as well. So this is another place where I can go to get potentially some other sources. And I think the last one of those in context, there's a science in context if you're doing work, an argument with something that's science specific, student resources in context, US history in context, and world history in context. So those all work the same way, but they have different focuses. The opposing viewpoints is more about argumentative types of topics. So I think that one's probably the best for you to try. So these are all of the databases that I would suggest you try to check out while you are finding some sources for our argumentative paper. These two right here, Mass Ultra and Net Tracker Search, could also be potentially helpful. There are other types of databases that have access to lots of different sources. Net Tracker, works similar to most of them. Again, I'd type in my topic. Up here at the top, you want to make sure high school is checked. And we've got some articles that are showing up here. A lot of them I can see like below it, whether they're science articles. In this case, most of these are because my topic is science, right? So I would open it and it's going to show me this particular source. It's going to kind of look a little bit funky. Just because of the way this database is made up. Now, I could have probably found this same source by doing a Google search. So that is one thing you might note about some of these databases. Some of them, if you're not looking for the scholarly academic articles, these same types of sources are available just through a regular Google search as well. So I would like you to use these Cobb Digital Library databases to find more scholarly types of academic research rather than things we could simply find using Google. And that is Cobb Digital Library.